Hey guys, welcome to another narrated PBR battle. It's actually been a while since I last narrated a PBR match, considering with all those kind of DS matches that I was doing, I was narrating them instead because it was a bit easier to narrate them as, you know, more stuff was happening quickly and everything. But anyway, this is a match against the person who I played in the last video. At least I'm going to probably put this as the next video after that one. I bumped into them on Wi-Fi right after I played them the first time, and I thought I'd upload another match because they had a really interesting team generally. So I start off with Honchkrow, they start off with Wigglytuff. I know Wigglytuff's offensive capabilities aren't that great, so I nasty plot, so I was wondering what it would do. It actually used Protect first, which was great, because that just meant free nasty plot for me. So I'm already in a pretty good position because of that. Like I said, Wigglytuff's offensive capabilities aren't that great, and I have a Focus Sash anyway, so depending on what it did, I'd be fine. So anyway, I used Dark Pulse. Obviously trained defensively, this Wigglytuff, it does just over half. And Wigglytuff actually uses Perish Song, a move I don't really see so often. So this was quite interesting in that respect. Anyway, Wigglytuff restores its health, and Perish Count falls to 3 on both of us. I think I probably should have predicted it would use Protect again this turn, but I stupidly didn't and just went for another Dark Pulse. And that Protect meant that it probably had enough HP to survive another Dark Pulse next turn, so that was a kind of bad judgment on my part. But you know, with Perish Song and stuff up, you kind of want to get rid of your opponent's Pokemon pretty quickly, so I think I'm afforded an error, at least at this point. So I just go for another Dark Pulse, see how much damage it would do, kind of hope that it would take out Wigglytuff, as I'm still alright for another turn with Perish Song, so I shouldn't die or anything. But I just wondered what the Wigglytuff would do this turn, as it's bouncing around, as you can see. Yep, keep bouncing Wigglytuff, keep a-bouncing. I obviously took my opponent a while to think of what to do. They switch out their Wigglytuff and they send in their Empoleon. And obviously Dark Pulse isn't going to do a huge amount to Empoleon. But it does more than I expected. So I kind of thought that made me think that his Empoleon was not very defensive. So I thought it might be one of those physical sets, like Perish Song was to get me to switch out, and so his Empoleon could set up Sword Stance. But I just decided, you know, Honchkrow should just take it out just in case he does do that. I mean, there's no way of knowing if that was the case, but a Heat Wave just takes down Empoleon straight away. But if it you know, it had used something like Sword Stance, then I would have been in big trouble had I switched out. But sadly, Honchkrow faints due to Perish Song. But you know, I expected that, and that was the risk of keeping it in. So anyway, next I send out Golem, and what does my opponent send out? I think they send out... I don't know what I think they sent out. Just better wait until it comes out. Okay, Wigglytuff. I figured Wigglytuff couldn't really do much to Golem. It might, you know, have something like Ice Beam, but as far as I'm aware, Wigglytuff doesn't really learn Water or special Grass moves. But I just use Earthquake, and it actually KOs Wigglytuff in one hit, which I wasn't expecting, but maybe his Wigglytuff was EV'd in like special defense and HP as opposed to you know, regular defense. I'm not quite sure about, you know, Wigglytuff's defensive capabilities. Anyway, they send out the last Pokemon, which is Swalot, which is, you know, should be simple pickings for Golem, really. I know Swalot can actually get things like Ice Beam, and it actually uses Ice Beam, but it barely, it does under half, so that was great. And I use Earthquake with Swalot. I was kind of surprised that I didn't KO it, but maybe Swalot's defensive capabilities are better than I thought. I use Endure this turn because I wasn't quite sure if, you know, I just want to be careful in case there was like a critical Ice Beam or something, to make sure that I would speed ahead of it, or I wasn't quite sure, you know, if like Ice Beam had been on the low end of the damage scale, if it might KO me this time. But it didn't even take me down to 1 HP, it took me down to 12 from what I can see. But thankfully it did enough damage to take me into the territory to use Endure and Cutsap, but they just gave up this turn figuring Cutsap, I guess. So yeah, I won that match. That was a pretty good one, and hope you enjoyed it. It was against an interesting team, and I'll see you next time.